So really looking.
Great, I shall start off then. So my name is Rima, founder and CEO of Ardy Marketing, and I am the marketing expert at Sandbox. And we're delighted here to have you all. This is like kind of preparations as Customer Service Week happens next week. And we're super excited to actually host this together with Dr. Lucy. Dr. Lucy, maybe you can introduce.
Yes, thank you, Rima, and good afternoon to all that have joined us this afternoon as we prepare for Customer Service Week, as we prepare to deliver great service to our customers every day, every week, 52 weeks in a year. It is important that we ask ourselves, how are we interacting with them through the online, the different online sites? So I am the customer experience expert at the Sandbox. And this is very, very exciting for me because it's been a new area. At first, I thought, wow, online reviews, marketers seem to be more interested in those than the customer experience professionals, but we are all in it together. Back to you, Rima.
Great, Dr. Lucy, thank you very much for that. So yeah, we're super excited about this. And today's topic is really all about managing online reviews. And how can we do this? Where can we do this? How can we do this? Why EDC? So we're going to answer some of these questions for you today. And feel free to ask any questions that you may have as we go along or towards the end. We're happy to answer those for you. So let's start with what is online reviews, right? I'm sure a lot of people here have heard of online reviews. If you haven't, I mean, CX community definitely for sure. But if you haven't, we want to know a little bit about what an online review would look like or what that would be, right? So I'm going to start with asking this question, all right? To answer the question that was there, let's ask another question, why don't we? So why do your customers like you or your business? Why do they like you or your business? And feel free to unmute yourself and answer this question, or feel free to put it on the chat. But I'd love to hear what you think. Why do your customers like you or your business? Christina, I'm going to put you there so that you can answer a question. Unmute yourself and perhaps answer.
Hi, Rima.
Hi, Christina.
See what you did there. So why do your customers like you or your business? I think because
why do they like you and your business? Yeah.
We seek to meet their needs at their place of need.
Mm-hmm.
Based on solving their problems and their budget that they have. We give them solutions, tailor-made solutions. So,
right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I like that. Paul says we provide relevant solutions. That's great. Anybody else? Let's take one more. Come on. We're going to try and make it as interactive as possible. So please feel free to unmute, feel free to write and tell us, why do your customers like you or your business? Or I'm going to call people out. Is that okay? Okay, great. So Halima's saying customer engagement during online purchase and turnaround time when they share feedback. Frida says best service. Okay, so customers like you because of your engagement, because of the better turnaround time, because of best service, because you're giving them a solution around their budgets. Now, that's fantastic. But now imagine if that information directly from your client's own words was written regularly on your review platforms. Would that make an impact to your business? Put a yes or a no in the chat. I want to hear if what you think in here is a yes or a no. I'm going to repeat that. Imagine if that information directly from your client's own words was written online regularly on all your review platforms. Would that make an impact for your business? Okay, I can see the yeses coming in now. Great. So this is what this is. All right. Online reviews are pretty much what your customer experiences from you, and they would like to put that online. All right. So they could probably do it as a word of mouth, right? Word of mouth, they just tell you, hey, by the way, I love this. Thank you so much for your the lovely experience that I've had, the service that I've had, the product that I've had. They can tell you that one-on-one. But imagine that being slapped now onto an online review platform or an online directory. And that's what the impact of this is. So I would like to leave you with this first, which is what you tell your customers is your story, but what your customers say about you is your reputation. All right, I want to leave you with that so that you can be able to mull over that for a little bit while Dr. Lucy goes into the next step of online reviews.
All right. Thank you, Rima. You know, I was reflecting back in terms of when is the first time that I interacted with online reviews? And I remember that many years back, as I made purchases on Amazon, the first place that I used to go to was reviews. We didn't consider them online reviews per se because they are within the Amazon platform. But before you make a purchase of a product, you know, you'd look through what are people saying, how has their experience been? And my purchase decisions were really influenced by that. And there's no doubt that online reviews are important. They're important to the business. They're important to the customer. They're important to the public as well. And, you know, online reviews help us to make better buying decisions because we are reading what others have already gone through. Online reviews give us an opportunity to share our experiences. You know, it's very interesting that, Rima, you're talking about positive experiences. People also go online to share their negative experiences. And we'll talk about that in terms of what is it that makes somebody want to go online. And there are others who write online reviews because they really feel they want to reward the company. You know, the business has really been so good to them, and they're like, oh wow, I want to go public about this. I don't know how many of you read online reviews before making a purchase decision. I'm requesting you to type Y or yes on the chat. Do you read online reviews before you make a purchase decision? And if you do that, could you type Y in the chat? And if not, you can write an N. And I remember last year, during the New Year's Eve, we wanted to go for dinner, and we looked around. We didn't want to go back to the same places that we've been to. And I remember my niece sharing a review from one of the facilities that made us not go to that particular facility. We were like, oh no, this doesn't sound good, you know? Yeah, I can see all those. Yes, Stella, I can see your hand is up. I don't know whether you'd like to say something. Oh no, it looks like it's down now. Yeah, so it seems that most of us do read online reviews. And there's this statistic that shows that 67%, by the way, there's so much statistics around the value of online reviews to businesses, to customers, and to the public at large, that 67% of consumers are influenced by online reviews. And that number has been growing. It has been growing. And when I really think about whether reviews are good for business or not, I am convinced. I'm convinced that businesses need reviews. Rima, I remember last year when we had this conversation, and you went online and you're like, Lucy, Evolve has no reviews. And I was like, yeah, because I didn't think they were important then, you know? And I think now we have like 6 reviews, and we haven't really been asking customers to review us, but because we are on Google for Business, we have found that some people have been able to find us there and leave us a review. And really, when you think about the value to the business, when customers read those online reviews, you know, it makes them make the decision much faster. Customers team, yes, Rima.
I'm just going to throw in a question, not a question, but an example on my end as well. And I've been getting these, I'd had about 3 years ago, I had been getting these emails from a particular business. And, you know, they've been sending me emails about, hey, you know, this is the offer that we have. It was about travel. And this is where we're traveling to. Would you like this package, you know, etc. And I was like, okay, so let me just find out, you know, like my husband and I wanted to go to Zanzibar. So we're like, okay, so let's just, you know, let me find out how much would that cost. And I mean, the main decision that we pegged it on is we went and checked on their Facebook reviews as well as Google reviews, whether we were able to trust this business with our money before we go on a holiday, and then we don't get anything at all. So it was, I mean, a lot of my decision and like the importance for me was to hear what their customers were saying about them. Are they credible?
And if you look them out online and you don't find anything about them, most likely you're like, hey, no, I don't trust them enough. You know, no one has said anything about them on TripAdvisor. No one has said anything about them on Facebook or on Google for Business. So it does build trust when your customers are leaving you reviews, even if some of those reviews are probably not very positive. And especially if you have responded to those negative reviews, it builds the customer's trust because they can see that you're ready to engage online. But besides building customer trust, positive reviews especially do improve the conversion rate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and I know there has been conversations around, should we ask our customers then for reviews, or should we just let them review us? And we'll be able to build on that as we move along. But it is very, very important for us to realize that in the times that we live in, you know, if anybody goes online to look for your business and they don't find you, they don't find anyone talking about your business, you know, they would start wondering what's wrong with that business. How come they don't have so much online presence? And even if they have a website, how come no one is talking about them? And I like the quote by Jeff Bezos, if we could move on to the next slide, that says, if you make customers unhappy in the physical world, they might each tell 6 friends. If you make customers unhappy on the internet, they can tell 6,000 people. Yeah. So when we think about online reviews, it's an opportunity for customers to raise their voice out there and to tell others about you. And I believe that that's why marketers like it, because it's you're able to get referrals from that, isn't it, Rima?
100%. You know, this is like your word of mouth referral, you know, broadcasted to everybody pretty much, right? And so that's why we feel as marketers that it's actually always perpetual, it's always there. Recent reviews are super helpful for our conversion rates. It helps us to build that credibility apart from the visibility. So everything that we do as ads and social media posts and everything, that's all visibility that we call it. But then when we add that whole aspect of what the customer is saying, that's now the credibility aspect. And once the two of them hit together, that's when the customers are able to trust you, and then you get better conversions. 100%.
Yeah. And I would like then for us to ask ourselves, why do customers leave reviews? I don't know when is the last time that you wrote on, you gave a customer a review online, you know? If you could put that on the chat, when is the last time you wrote an online review? Month, you can put the month, the year, or you can say never, you've never done it, even after that great experience or that not very great experience. And then there's a follow-up question, and I would request that 1 or 2 of you could probably unmute and tell us, why did you write the review? You know, let me see in the chat. Yes, I can see people saying, yes, they have. All right. Have you left a review after having interacted with a business, after having gone to a restaurant, after having been to your bank, you know? I know banks are not very keen on reviews, by the way, you know? Yeah.
I wonder why. And
I
it's so
don't know.
important because I mean, look, the competition is out there as well, right? And imagine your competitor is the one who's actually getting more reviews. You've got so many, how do you stand out from your competition? I mean, that's another probably reason why you should also get online reviews. How do you stand out from your competition?
Yes, and I would urge all of us who are listening in, if you can just even Google yourself as a business and look through, are there some reviews? There are businesses that I interact with and they're not even aware that they have reviews online, you know? Yeah, so you can look through those, and I can see Karemi there saying, yes, we do. I'm glad she's from the financial services sector. And I'm happy to see that you do consider reviews to be an important customer feedback channel. So who could tell us, if you've ever written a review, what is it that made you write that review?
So Paul has said that he has written one in the last 2 days, 2 weeks, sorry. So maybe Paul, you can unmute yourself and tell us what made you write it.
Oh, and Christina, they are saying like 2 months ago, Uber rides, you know, there's a Chinese restaurant that had put too much salt. And Christina was like, you know what, I want to just put this out there for everybody to know.
It's
yeah.
true. And, you know, just to add on to what Christina is saying, I remember one of the last times I wrote a review was I made the effort to look for their Google business profile. And I wrote a very negative review there because I was unhappy about something.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, I'd gone to a restaurant again and the food was terrible. You know,
restaurants get a very heavy beating, by the way, when it comes to online reviews. And just this week, somebody in our CX group gave some very good feedback about a place that he had visited, I believe, over the weekend. And I felt so urged to ask him, have you written a review? And he went ahead and wrote a review after that conversation. And he even got a response from the owner of that facility, because I was like, wow, he's given us so much good feedback, but could he go ahead and take the next step and make it public, you know? And when I think about the reasons why people write reviews, I don't see any hand up. So I don't know whether somebody would like to share something in terms of what really moved them to write that review. And by the way, Rima, I've decided from this day forward, I'm going to be writing more reviews.
There you go, right?
Yeah. I haven't been doing that as much as I should, you know. And when I think about why many customers write reviews, or what is it that pushes them, it's both extremes, by the way. It's often both extremes. Yeah.
When you've had a phenomenal experience, or when you've mostly had a bad experience. If you've had a very bad experience, then you really want to write about it.
And that's why you'll find some businesses have five, and then in between there you find a 1, you know. Yeah. And please remember, you know, any 2 and 1s, of course, they are they are an expression of dissatisfaction. 3, I consider it neutral. You know, most of the review sites will allow you to use the 5 stars. And 4 and 5, you know, 4 and 5 are considered to show some level of satisfaction. So remember, customers go online to write a review when they feel great about the experience that they've had with you, or also when they feel that you have messed up and you're not listening to them, and they're like, you know what, let me just go online. I'm sure when I post it out there for the public to read, they will respond to me. You know, there are customers who do that when they feel that because the business is not listening to them, if they go online, if they make it public, probably the business is going to listen into them. And if you can move on to the next slide.
Right. And I mean, there's some great messages everyone has written in here. I've got Anne saying that she wrote something because she was dissatisfied customer in a bank. I've got Halima who's saying she left a review for a lady who had henna products, dark and organic, and it grew the person's business that 1 year ago. Paul says that Google promoted to ask questions. Remember that when you go to a location, sometimes they Google itself prompts you. So that's what I think Paul went through, and he wrote the review. We've got Grace saying that the last time she wrote was because someone asked her to, which sounds like a very proactive way of doing it. Christina says she reviewed a good Uber driver, and of course, Ardy Marketing ourselves once prompted her and she wrote a review. That's great. And Grace again says that cab driver apps also make it easier to review. So how do we make it easier? If it's easy, so I'm hearing also easy to review makes it easier to write something for someone as well, right? So that's great. Thanks everyone for your input.
Thank you, Rima. And yes, we need to ask ourselves, do we need to prompt our customers to give us a review? I remember at one point I was at a checkout in a hotel, and I gave very good feedback. And then they asked me, could you put that on TripAdvisor? And I was like, nah, I wish I had seen it somewhere, as I was checking out, that they were asking for me to review, but not after giving them feedback, that they then send me to TripAdvisor. And I don't think I actually went to TripAdvisor, but I did give them my feedback. And therefore, as we even ask ourselves, how are we managing online interactions, we need to ask ourselves, at what point then do we get our customers to know that we like online reviews, So as we move along, I would like to now invite Rima to, I bet, walk us through the next session. And as she walks us through the next session, please remember that when you get a negative review, you will need about 10 to 15 positive reviews to counter that one negative review. And therefore, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we can do within our businesses so that we are sending our customers online to give us positive reviews? Because if they then go out there and they give a negative review, it's going to take so much effort for us to be able to win them back, or to even get back a better reputation in the marketplace. Over to you, Rima. How do we manage these reviews? But even before we talk about managing reviews, what are the sites that could be considered reliable?
Sounds great. Thanks, Dr. Lucy. So first and foremost, what Dr. Lucy is saying is true. We need to have a way of also managing and protecting our reputation. Our reputation can be gone in really, you take years to build it, and then it goes away in a second, in a minute, and from what we have done, right? So we've got reliable online review sites, which is directories. We call them online directories. And there's several different ones that are there in the market. I mean, these are just some of the favorites that we've seen as marketers. Google, Facebook, there's Yelp, Dr. Lucy mentioned TripAdvisor, Yellow Pages, etc. So there's different ones, and some of them are local, some of them are international. So these are great places to actually have your reviews going online on. But what we have found, especially in our market here and internationally, is Google is the fastest growing review platform, even more so than Facebook and any other place that is there. So the Google directory is very, very important. So what I would recommend is look for something on your for your business. And if you don't have a Google business profile, please create one. That's where the clients can now put a review for you, right? So Google business profile, please write that down and then find it and start. All you need is a Gmail address. All right, you click your Gmail address and you can create it directly from your Gmail address itself. So if you don't have one, please do create one. Really important place to start off with as well. Everybody is Googling everything. So if you're not on that Google platform, then you're missing out on something, okay? So another way we can talk about in terms of reliable online reviews, and we've talked about also businesses responding to reviews. Sorry, apologies, that's probably in the wrong place, but how to best manage your online reviews. And I think that's going to be really important when you're doing this. Dr. Lucy mentioned something earlier. Customers can be unhappy, right? They're not going to be happy all the time, because of maybe miscommunication. It could be the delivery was a little bit late. It could be you expected a color and a different color came about. It could be just anything, right? So your sandwich was smaller than you thought it was going to be. I mean, really just anything that is there about any business, right? But how do you manage this? And that's really, really important. We want to get the feedback, not just reviews, but we want to get the feedback from our customers as a crucial part of our business, okay? And we'll see how that would actually work out. So as part of our offerings, for example, this is one of the platforms that we use constantly for getting feedback and reviews from our customers. As you can see over here, there is a section for name, address, phone number. There's a section for questions, and these survey questions, of course, you can put them and whichever way you'd like them. It's fully customizable. You want to send this to your customers proactively so that you may be able to get that feedback and review. As you can see down here, after the survey questions, and you can keep it as small as 2 questions if you want, survey questions. And then after that, you're able to review it. On the second page, as you can see this platform, you can be able to, sorry, may I ask whoever's been unmuted to mute themselves? Thank you. Sorry, it's a bit distracting. So I'm going to go back here, and you can see that this review can also be put on several different directories, right? So you can, the client themselves can actually select whichever directory they'd like to put it on, or you can have it directed on to one particular directory, like for example, Google. In this case, it was Google. Strategic Web Success is my partners for these online customer reviews that we actually do for our customers. And as you can see, client is able to paste it and post it very easily. Remember, we mentioned that customer can be unhappy, right? They'd be unhappy about something. And if you, again, are proactive to ask that question, hey, how was your experience with us today? And they give you the 3 stars or less, which we deem as negative or closer to the negative side, then the customer writes you the negative review. And this is still part of managing your feedback. As you can see on the second page, it doesn't ask them to put it online. It asks them what was unsatisfactory. It asks them, how can we do this better? It asks, I mean, and you can ask any certain questions or actually get an alert around this as well. So once you get the alert, and remember you have their phone number and name, you can easily pick up the phone and call this customer and resolve their issues. Right, Dr. Lucy, maybe tell me a little bit about why customers write a negative review or negative feedback. Why would they do that?
Thanks, Rima. And it's obvious that most of the times before customers go online to give a review, they have tried to get their issue resolved. Yeah. So, for example, if we were to use the example of a restaurant, because many of us have visited restaurants, you know, and you feel that you've given feedback about the food, but the waiter or the manager are unresponsive, you know, you might choose after. You will not probably even review when you're right there, but later on after you're done with your meal, or when you're halfway done with your meal and you leave, you might decide, you know what, I want to give a review. I want people to know about how I felt, you know, I want the world to know. Yeah. And what will be pushing you to do that is because the person that you spoke to then, you know, did not handle the issue, and you want the whole world then to know. And just one other thing that I would like to mention, because I have really found it useful where customers then are able, let's say, for example, they go to your bank branch and they can be able to scan QR code, you know, and leave you a review. You're making it easy for them. You know, they don't feel like you're prompting them, you know, but at least you're making it accessible. You're making it visible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
No, that's great. Thanks for your input on that as well. And that's true, right? Because I mean, literally, a customer was unhappy is really just wanting to be heard and wanting to be resolved, because the frustration is real, right? The frustration is real. So, as people who are managing reviews and feedback, this again is a great tool or platform where you're able to see from just one login a dashboard full of information, right? So you get to see the information around how many reviews have been left, what's your average ratings, where is an analytics around this at the moment, how many, when did you get your last reviews, when are people giving you the more reviews, etc. So you can see that on the dashboard right in front of you. You can also see all the contacts in one space. So almost building a database. You can see all the feedback reviews, online reviews, and negative reviews in one space as well. So a great way of actually monitoring what's been happening in terms of feedback and reviews that you're collecting. And what I love about this also is as soon as you've resolved this particular customer, because remember you have their contact details, the problem with someone putting it online directly is you're not able to pull out their mobile number or their email address or so on, so that you can be able to connect with your customer, even so that they're unhappy. You still want to connect with them. So this is a great way of actually doing that, collecting the information and really using this to see, one, where are the places that we need to improve in our businesses, and two, helping them to see that, listen, we do care for you. And just that, picking up the phone and calling your customer, especially when they're unhappy, really makes a big difference. Do you want to add something to that, Dr. Lucy?
Yes, and one of the things that has become very evident in the world of customer experience is that when we have anonymous feedback from our customers and we don't know who is it that has left this feedback, it becomes very difficult for us to be able to resolve the issue. And I remember not long ago when a client was saying, wow, we have this online review, we've tried to contact this person, we don't know who they are, we've tried to ask them for their phone number, they're not giving us their phone number. And what is very important is, if you're going to get feedback from your customers, please make sure that you have a way of reaching out to the customer, because if they are very unhappy, what will you do if you don't know who it is? How is that? Yes, that feedback may help you take some action internally, but how will you close the loop with the customer? So the system, the platform helps you to then capture the customer information so that you can then be able to reach out to them directly and resolve the issue. Back to you, Rima.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Resolving the issue is the most important part in here as well. Right. So again, 50% of local marketers can't put more effort into their online reputation due to lack of time. This is one of the biggest things that people say, that, hey, why haven't you collected feedback? Why haven't you collected the review from your customer? Oh, we didn't have the time to do it. Oh, we're so busy for that. So you're not busy when you're trying to get the customer to come in and trying to convince them that, look, this is the product for you, or when you're making the effort of actually delivery. So then make it part of your process, guys, as managing your feedback from your customers. Important to actually ask them. Ask and you shall receive. If you do not ask, you do not get. And if you don't ask, chances are the only time someone is going to look for you online is when they're super unhappy and they will put something negative on your Google business profile, right? So get customers while they're happy even, then you know that it's actually a great motivator for yourself as well as your team, that, hey guys, we're doing a great job. We're actually doing a great job, that our customers are happy with our service delivery, are happy with our products, whatever that is for you, And so that's important to make it as and I'm going to stress it over and over, be proactive and ask your customers for the feedback and for reviews. What star rating should your business aim for? Always a good question that people ask for. I'm going to pause here for a bit and I'm going to ask the people in here, between 1 star and 5 star. What do you think is the best rating for your business? What do you should aim for? Minimum. What is the minimum you should aim for? Maybe let's put it that way. So you can either, like I said, unmute yourself, or you can put it on the chat. Let's see. Okay, Lucy, thank you for that. It's like you're the Mwakenya.
That's a marking scheme.
Marking scheme. Oh, brilliant. And that's absolutely correct, guys. Okay. It is 4 or more stars that you need to aim for. And you can see over here again, the statistics around it is 57% of consumers only use businesses with 4 or more star reviews. Okay, so you want your business, whether it's B2C or B2B. So whether it's business to business or business to consumer, either way, you need to collect this. And whichever industry, I have not come across an industry that doesn't need this, that doesn't need an online review, that doesn't need to be out there for potential customers to see that, hey, you know what, this is a business to reckon with. These are the people to reckon with. These are the people I'd like to give my money to. Okay. So the other question we asked ourselves is why businesses must respond to reviews. Is it really necessary to respond to reviews, or it's one of those that, okay, thank you in my mind, that it's okay that you've actually written a review? So again, I'm going to ask, do you think it's important to respond to reviews? Yes or no would be helpful. Why do you think it's important? So, or is it important to respond to reviews? And do you know why it's important to respond to reviews?
And even as we respond to that question, I've decided, let me go online and check out Best Western Kisumu, for example. And I can see it has 26 reviews. It has a 4.5. I think Nairobi Hospital is also represented here. I've decided to go online and check on Google Review. It has 290 reviews. It's at 3.5. And I did encourage each one of us who is here. So just go online. You may not even be aware that your business has a Google page, and you can then be able to look through your reviews. Back to you, Rima.
Great. So answering this question, and people are saying, yes, important to respond to reviews. Let's see why it's important. 89% of consumers read businesses' responses to reviews. Guys, people are not just reading the reviews themselves, but they're reading on how you're responding to these reviews. Okay, so that's important, very, very important. A second tip on this, and why it's responding to reviews is important. As marketers, Google kind of helps to, when they see good reviews coming in and you're replying to them, it's a great way of getting into their good books. Okay, great way of getting into their good books. Just an extra tad bit there, right there. Here's another one. 45% of consumers say they're more likely to visit a business that responds even to the negative reviews. So if you do get negative review, guys, please feel free to respond to it. And here's some tips around how you should respond to it. First and foremost, please don't attack them back. Even if it's a bot or gee, what are we talking about? But the way you actually respond to them is, first of all, being empathetic. I am so sorry to hear that you had a bad experience. Would love to make good of it. How can we make it better? We're taking this in and we want to make a difference. We want to improve ourselves. We want to make sure our delivery is improved, etc. Whatever that is, but how you respond versus, no, you came in and you said this, and that's why we said that. And so, we don't need your service and we don't need your business, and you can go to places that you want to say, so imagine between the two responses, which one would you feel comfortable still doing business, even if you've seen the negative review, and how they responded to it? Number 1 or number 2? So again, I'm going to ask guys, write number 1 or number 2 in there to see how you feel more comfortable to still do business give business to this company that is replying to that negative review.
It's an opportunity to thank your customers for their feedback. Yeah. thank them for the feedback. Rima, I have been seeing a trend in Kenya where when we get a negative review, down there you see CDM, people want to have those conversations in direct message. Should we respond in public or should we respond in private?
My take to that is respond in public.
Yes. People want to see, people want to see how did you respond to that, because they could also be experiencing the same issue and want to see how it was responded to. Yeah. So let's take it back from DM and have a bit of conversation in the public, because the feedback has been shared in a public platform. The response also needs to be in the public platform. And there was also that other question, Rima, where and it happens, it's probably 0.01% of customers that would do that, where somebody, and probably they're not even your customer, they might choose to go online and leave a review. There's an organization that I know of where the staff was so disgruntled, they decided to go ahead and give a negative review for the business where they work. Can you imagine? How do you deal with such out of the ordinary?
Right. First and foremost, I would wonder, like, how bad is it internally for them to have, put it out there? Because remember, our customers are both internal customers as well as external customers. Normally, we're always looking at these reviews and feedback from our external customers, and we forget the feedback from our internal customers. So maybe this, Lucy, is a great way of, first of all, stopping and trying to see how we can get feedback from internal customers on a regular basis as well. So we can see how we can improve our internal culture. If internally we're not happy, how are we going to externally be happy for our customers as well?
Thanks, Rima. I don't know whether Paul is still with us. I know he is the public relations expert. I don't know if you'd like to say something about how to deal with those negative reviews that come in once in a while, and you're not too certain that it's from a customer, but even as we go on with the conversations, yes, it's important. I can see a comment there from Grace. It's a great opportunity to apologize, yes, and empathize with our customers. So if you ever get a negative review, please make sure that you acknowledge it. You apologize, and let the customer know what exactly are you going to do. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to resolve the issue?
And what I like about this also is, and I was going to say earlier, I was going to say your name, Dr. Lucy, that if in case you are in doubt and you want to consult an expert on how to respond to a negative review, reach out to Dr. Lucy, reach out to our PR expert, Christina or Paul, reach out to myself. This is what we do on a day-to-day basis, right? We help with this feedback, and sometimes we don't have all the answers, but there is a way that we can actually respond, but mean it. If you do not mean it, it means nothing. If you're saying it for the sake of saying it and then carrying on your business as usual, then you'll see that there are more and more of those same things that will keep propping up, and you wonder why.
Yes, and don't wait to get the negative review to figure out how to respond to it. Think through, in case you get a negative review, how do you respond to it? And it doesn't have to be scripted. Please ensure that it gets to a point where you're having a conversation with the customer, so that the customer feels you're not cutting and pasting from the scripts, but you're looking at them as a customer who's had an interaction with you, and probably an interaction that was not very positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another one saying, above average people actually wait to see how long does it take for us to respond to a negative review, right? So if, for example, you've taken like more than a week or a month or something, then they're like, why are they not responding to this? Is it because that they are, afraid that it's a correct thing, so whatever that is, right? So this is what people feel about it. So again, so this is an example as part of managing the feedback. Great way. Again, I'm going to give you marketing tidbits while Dr. Lucy is going to give you the customer experience kind of tidbits. But part of the customer experience, we feel, is putting those reviews on your website. And I'm not talking testimonials. I'm talking reviews that have backlinks to where the customer left the review. For example, as you can see in front of us, we've got a name here, has been verified because it's an actual person that has put this online. This is on Facebook, this is on Yelp, this is on Brown Book, etc. Right? So you can see this is like an entire page on your website. Here's another way of actually doing it. Right-hand side or left-hand side of your bottoms of website, you can have a small little ticker, all right? So it's kind of like every few seconds, you've got the most recent 5-star reviews coming on and showing you what this would look like, right? I'll give you a physical example of it as well in a while. But some of the things, again, that we feel like it actually helps to create that experience of that 5-star in the mind of a customer when they come to your website. It helps to reduce the bounce rate. And more often than not, because we're in business, remember, customer experience marketing, whatever we do, finance, you're in sales, you're in accounting, whichever space you're in, the idea here is to bring in that customer and conversion. And you can see Spielberg Research Center says, displaying reviews on websites can increase your conversion rate by 270%, because you're giving the customer everything right in front of them. You're giving them what you do, you're giving them how you do it, and you're giving them what my customers are saying about us, and giving them the link to how they can see that it's real. Okay, so wait, let me just stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to go into this example here. All right, so you all can see my screen. You can see NipNap in there. Dr. Lucy, can you see this?
Yes, yes, we can.
Fantastic. So you can see on the right-hand side, every few seconds in each of the pages, whichever page you go to, you'll be able to see this. Like I said, every few seconds, this actually keeps changing. So let's wait for the next one to come through. All right, there we go. So if they click on this, all right, so you can see all of these, there are like about 25 recent reviews in here, and this is one of our customers, okay? So you can see if you scroll through again, you'll see all the different reviews that are in there. Here's somebody who's saying something amazing about their experience with using this diaper. If I click on their name, you can also see, for example, who this person was and how they left the review, all right, and how the response was, okay? So this again gives a lot of credibility around it, because it's not a testimonial that you can cook up and put on your website. A lot of people do that, but this is actual genuine reviews, right?
Yes, and even the positive reviews need to be acknowledged. You know, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, yeah, same way over here. Whether it's a negative or positive review, you're 100% right. You need to respond to that. All right, so here are just some of the benefits customers have seen from just doing, getting feedback and reviews from their customers, okay? So standing out from your competition, we've just mentioned that, improving your brand perception, improving your customer service via that feedback collected. And then overall, you know, we're looking at our bottom line, we're looking at client retention, we're looking at peace of mind. You know, there's several different things that you can actually use this review collection as a holistic improvement for your business and business operation, right? So that's why Dr. Lucy and I love to collaborate on these things, because we see the reasons why we're actually doing this. We want to make sure that the customers are happy, because then that's where we can sustain our businesses as well, right?
And Rima, even as we give a bit more info about the platform, probably I can put it in very simple terms, you know. So on the front end of the platform, you're able to get your customers to give you feedback. Yeah, we can call it feedback from a CX perspective.
Yeah, correct.
You know, you're asking them for feedback, but on the back end of it, that feedback can be converted into a review that goes online if it's positive. But I think it's as simple as that. Yeah, I try to simplify stuff.
I love that. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? I love it.
Yeah, so on the front end, you have an opportunity to ask your customers for feedback.
Great.
And that feedback then gets converted into a review, and only gets converted into a review if it's positive feedback, and they can even post it themselves on Google. They can post it by themselves on TripAdvisor, because the platform, the system that we have,
Yes.
is able to integrate backwards to
Correct.
Google for Business. It's able to integrate backwards to Facebook. It's able to integrate backwards, I believe, also to TripAdvisor,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
For those functionality. Yeah. So I think that's what we are saying, that there's that opportunity for you to better manage your online reviews. But before we then think about that as being the only thing that you need to do, I think there are still two other things that you really need to focus on. And allow me then to ask, we get to ask ourselves, so what next after you have received your online reviews, whether they are positive, whether they are negative? How do you move that conversation forward internally with your teams, externally with your customers? And I would really urge all of us who are here today to think about building our culture based on action from the reviews that we are getting. So when we get a review, if it's positive, how do we get back to the organization and tell our teams, well done, you're doing a great job. We continue to get 4s and 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Or in case it's a 3, a 2, or a 1, how do we then get to ask ourselves, what is it that we need to do differently internally, so that we don't keep getting customers going out there and giving us a 1, a 2, a 3, whether they go directly or they come through the platform. Those reviews need to be followed through conclusively. Yes, Rima.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're 100% right about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the platform is there, right? So the platform is there for you to actually proactively ask for feedback. And I love what you said. It's feedback, then goes to the review, then gives us like a chance to see and analyze what are all our people saying about it. And then at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our customers, like we internally, are looking and analyzing this experience and this information to better ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we can only better ourselves if we ask then, what do we need to do now that we have this review? These are very interesting statistics, and especially the 63% who say that businesses have never, ever responded to their reviews. You go look at your review, because you can access your review. You can even choose, by the way, as a customer, to delete your review. I don't usually advocate for businesses asking customers to delete reviews that were negative. I think what we need to do, if we get one negative review, remember you need to get 15 positive reviews to be able to counter that, because of course it's not always that everybody's going to give you a 5. 94% of consumers saying that bad review has convinced them to avoid a business. So remember, the negative reviews are even more powerful from the customer's perspective. When they see, in fact, like if you go for Google for Business, you can be able to rank the reviews, from the lowest.
Yes.
And that's often what people do, even when they go onto Amazon and they go onto Facebook, they rank them. They just want to read the most negative ones, those people who gave you a 1 and a 2. Why did they give you a 1 and a 2? You find that people are more keen in terms of listening in to what the customers are saying, and especially those that are dissatisfied. 53% of customers expect businesses to respond to negative reviews within a week. So if it has taken more than a week, in fact, I think that is coming down to even 2 days. Most customers nowadays are saying, if I give you a review within 48 hours, I expect, and I know there are some companies that even have set 24 hours as a timeline within which they respond to those reviews. And the other statistic, they are talking about 45% of consumers saying that they are more likely to visit a business that responds. And that's, again, very, very powerful. That if you've had a negative review, but you have responded to it, 1 in every 2 customers will still be willing to come over to your business. And again, very, very important, ask yourself internally, how do you close the loop? You know, you've had a negative review. How are you following through internally to ensure that you have taken action internally so that you don't then keep having customers complaining about too much salt in that Chinese restaurant? You know, could it be that you need to ask the chef, you know, how they measure the amount of salt they put into the food, but also externally with the customer, follow through. And you can only be able to follow through conclusively with the customer if you have their contact details. And what the platform then helps you to do is for you to capture the customer contact details, their telephone number, their email address, so that in case you need to follow through, and it's important to follow through, by the way, on every review, positive or negative. If it's a positive one, let them know you're grateful. If it's a negative one, let them know that you really do apologize. And if you need to get more details, pick up the phone, find out exactly what happened. And if they don't want to talk to you, it is okay, you know, because there are customers that you then follow through with and they're like, no, I'm done. You know, I just wanted to put it out there. Please make sure that in your conversation with them, you can then be able to update the public that you have been able to get into a conversation with the customer, and the issue has been, and the issue at hand has been resolved. Very, very important. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add that we have seen as part of our business and, you know, being the representative of Strategic Web Success here in Kenya, that when we ask our unhappy customers, even if they have actually put that review online, like on Google, for example, and we've resolved them, they are more than happy to go and change or edit their response, you know, and that makes a huge difference. It basically goes to show that, look, whatever you're saying, really live what you're saying. I think that's really, really important, because again, words are cheap if we're not able to actually like live our word, right? So resolving that customer, helping them out, explaining to them that this is what the situation was, etc. They understood. They're like, you know what, I'm going to go online and I'm going to change that review. And it has happened before.
Yeah, and the most loyal customers usually are those that have had a negative experience, but it was resolved, you know, to their satisfaction. Yeah. By the way, Rima, you know, I remember asking we did say that we are starting at 3, but did we say what time we were to stop? And we needed to allow time for Q&A, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
We can actually go into the Q&As right now. We want to definitely hear your questions. I know there were some few questions that were there. And as people are pointing up their questions and so on, we would love to hear how you feel about our sessions, right? So we've got the 2 QR codes in front of you. We decided to practice what we preach. And so, of course, you've got the 2 sections right in front of you. For Evolve CX, you can go directly onto the Google reviews and respond. For our Ardy marketing one, you can scan the code or click the link and give us feedback around how you feel interaction with us has been, or how you feel that this webinar has been for you. Yeah, would love to hear about that. So I'm just going to keep that open over here. And thanks, Joanne, for sharing the links. Why don't I jump into a few questions that were pre-asked? Dr. Lucy, is that okay with you?
Yes, it is. Perfect.
Okay, great. So there was a question that was asked, how do we deal with business online trolls who are never pleased with service recovery and always leaving negative reviews? All right, so I'm going to answer that one. Okay. What we've found is, if genuinely this person is constantly writing negative reviews everywhere they go, there is a way that we can request Google to then relook at that particular review and see if we can be able to get it down. Because then that way it just shows that that person has bad intent in general. right? So there is some certain profiles, if you will. People create specific profiles just so that they can actually do these negative reviews and so on. Either way, still respond in the same way that you would respond to any other negative review. But yeah, there is a possibility of doing that. Okay.
And what is also very, very important, Rima, is
Yes.
for the business to then confirm, is this a real customer, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it is a real customer. And if yes, it's a real customer, reach out to them directly, you know? Yeah, that phone call would help. A lot of times, like you've said, it could be that I've had people even talk about sometimes it's a competition that is leaving negative reviews on your site. And of course, that's totally unacceptable. And there's only so much that you can do as a business in terms of this is not someone who has even had an experience with you, and they have gone ahead and left a review. And like I said, by the way, we shouldn't be worried about those. They are very, 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 very few. Who we need to be worried about is those real, genuine customers who give us an entire paragraph. By the way, if a customer has written an entire paragraph, they care so much. They want to see change, and please follow through.
I love that. Another question here is, how do you encourage customer participation while conducting online reviews, online surveys? I think for me is keeping it short and sweet. So like, for example, the examples that we gave in the platform that we shared with you today, we generally tell the customer it's going to take a minute or less for you to give us that feedback. If you tell the customer it's going to take anything longer than that, customers really are fatigued, if you will, right? They don't want to fill in really long survey questions and so on. So the best way to encourage a customer, they've gotten a great experience right now. Can you please spare less than a minute or a minute to give us that feedback? Have the QR code at hand, have the link at hand, and get them to do it right in front of you, even before they leave, right? So that's actually we've found that's the best way to do it. Not when they walk out of your premises, not when they walk out, because a lot of times life happens, and even with the best intent of the customer who wants to leave a feedback will not probably do that, right? So yeah. Okay, what's your take on deleting negative posts that alter your score? I think we've answered that question, which was for every negative review, 1, do not delete it, respond it in the right way, reply to it, and then get 10 to 15 positive reviews to bury this negative review, right? So that's important.
And I see a question there from Grace. The QR codes are not opening directly. Oh, all right. Please use the link. Yes, you say you've used the link. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Has a QR code worked for anyone, I wonder? And I think, Rima, like you have said, yes, we do, as businesses, we cannot even be able to delete negative reviews that are probably like on Google or Facebook, unless the customer deletes them. So the much that we can do is to show the public that we have handled the issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other question.
Okay, so let's see.
And please, you can also put down your question on the chat. If you'd like to unmute yourself and ask a live question, you could do that as well. You could raise your hand or just unmute.
So we've got Paul. I think he's still here in this session, who had asked if customer service can be identified to be an independent profession like accounting, IT, HR, and so on. And that's a strong yes.
Yeah, and we are all service professionals, by the way. We like to say that even that accountant is providing a service, and therefore they do have a responsibility on matters to do with the service. But I think what I have seen growing, advancing, is customer experience as a profession. It has already even been recognized in many countries, and even as an area of study. So as you do your MBA accounting, you know, in some countries, you can be able to do your MBA in service excellence, you know, or in customer experience. So that's a trend. Customer experience is really one of the very fastest growing careers. One of the fastest growing careers. Since Amazon decided it is going to be a customer experience company, you know, everybody got excited about customer experience and they're like, oh, what's this customer experience? And it's all about the sum of all those interactions that our customers are having with us and how the customers perceive them. So everything within the organization can link back to customer experience. Yes, so Paul, it is a profession.
Okay, so there's a question here that I love to answer. So it says, how do I get more positive reviews on Facebook and Twitter? And then they say that less than 5 customers would choose to take their frustrations on Twitter and Facebook. The happy ones, however, hardly go to that end. And that's the truth, right? As we can see, we've talked about it earlier as well, that a lot of more frustrated people will go online and put it because, I mean, Yenny, their experience was terrible. So they will put that extra effort into it. But if you are proactive, if you have a forum like the ones that we've just shared with you right now for Evolve CX and Ardy Marketing, then this is how you actually get proactively feedback from happy customers as well, right? Dr. Lucy, are you happy with you know, interacting with Ardy Marketing? Yes.
And you know, it's quite interesting, Rima, because I believe that even as that person asked the question, it is important that we remember we do have the social media channels, you know, like for example, if somebody is posting on Twitter or posting on Facebook, that's a bit different from what we are talking about, because what we are talking about is those platforms that allow you to leave an online review. You know, and I did say that a lot of those platforms are based on a 5-star rating, you know, and once a customer leaves a review, then as a business, you're given an average, you know, a 4 and a 5 gives a 4.5. So if you have 2 reviews, one was 4, the other one was 5, you get a 4.5. So that's what we are talking about this afternoon, the use of those platforms for customers to leave you a review. Of course, there is a bigger topic in terms of what about if a customer is interacting with you on social media? They have updated their Facebook page, you know, or they have tweeted you and it's a complaint, you know. Yeah, that's an entirely different conversation. Back to you, Rima.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that, you know, there is a way of actually translating those messages, like a DM message or you know, a post message or a post comment, whether it's negative or positive, you know, ask them to actually send them the link and say, please, you know, we want to hear more about this, and how can we reach out to you, and how can we help you resolve this issue, right? At the end of the day, that's really important. I'm going to explain one thing. I think for me, this is the one last thing that I want to say about customer experience. And we say customer experience is a new marketing. A customer experiences you for the first time, not when they have connected with you on Facebook or on your website, or they've walked in. That's not the first time that they connect with you. The first time their experience is with you is when they have heard about you. When they heard about you, your brand, your company, your person, that's the first time they've actually experienced you, right? So the customer experience actually starts right from there. And so that when you do that, it's really important to see how that makes a difference. All right, is there any other questions that you'd like us to answer before we close today's session? I'm hoping that this has been good for you all.
I don't see any other question on the chat, and I don't see any hands raised. I do hope that we have attempted at least to respond to as many questions as possible. And what we would urge you, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the use of the platform to help you better manage your reviews, please reach out to Rima, reach out to myself, and we'll be happy to progress that conversation. But overall, from a customer experience perspective, what we are saying, let's use those online reviews to get better. Yeah, it's not so much about the rating. Let us use those reviews to get better. When we get a positive review, please let us make sure that our teams are aware about those positive reviews that we are receiving. If we get a negative review, let us do a root cause analysis. Let's investigate. Let's find out what is it that could have made that customer go online and share their review, share their feedback with the entire world. Why is it that they didn't come to us on a one-on-one basis? Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much for your time and for your participation today. You guys have been amazing by answering our questions and communicating back to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have come to the end of our session. Great. I'm so glad to hear that you felt that this has been helpful to you. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear about your experience. Like we said, feel free to give us the feedback, but also reach out to us, if you'd like, a platform like this for yourself, an entire CX solution, if you will, right? Feedback solution, that would be lovely. Just reach out to us. Thank you, everybody. Eye-opening. Asante. Thank you.
Asanteni sana. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.